Commander Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck of the frontier station, staring at what had once been a pristine diplomatic outpost. Now it looked like a Christmas supernova had exploded across every visible surface. "Explain this to me one more time," she said, pinching the bridge of her nose. Dr. Marcus Webb, the station's xenobiologist, cleared his throat nervously. "Well, Commander, it started 3 weeks ago when Ambassador Cathara brought her cubs to the station for the cultural exchange program. The Catharan were apex predators from a high-gravity world, standing nearly 8 feet tall with obsidian scales and retractable claws that could slice through hull plating. They were the galaxy's most feared warriors, having never lost a battle in their 3,000-year spacefaring history. Their young, however, were currently engaged in what could only be described as the most aggressive Christmas decoration competition the galaxy had ever witnessed. I showed them one documentary," Marcus continued weakly. "Just one. About human winter celebrations, Sarah. Watched as 3 Catharan cubs, each still weighing over 200 pounds, despite being only 5 standard years old, wrestled over a string of multicolored lights in Corridor B. Their excited chirps and growls echoed through the station's comm system. One cub had fashioned crude ornaments from what appeared to be destroyed maintenance drones. Another had claimed the entire hydroponics bay as its territory and wrapped every plant in tinsel. The situation had escalated rapidly. Ambassador Cathara herself had tried to intervene, but the cubs had looked at her with their large, luminous eyes and made what the translation software rendered as "but mother." "It's the human gift-giving battle season." She had promptly given up, declaring it a valuable learning experience about alien cultures. The Galactic Council had been less understanding. Commander Chen, the Vexnari representative, had hissed over subspace communication that morning. "Your species has somehow weaponized festive decoration. 3 of the most dangerous predators in known space are now fighting over, what did you call them? The best chimney for Santa's approach?" Sarah had tried to explain. She really had. But how could she make them understand that Christmas wasn't actually a battle ritual? That humans didn't typically engage in territorial disputes over decoration rights? That Santa Claus wasn't a deity that judged combat readiness based on illumination patterns? The problem was that the Catharan cubs had interpreted everything through their own cultural lens. To them, Christmas was clearly a practice ritual for resource acquisition and territorial dominance. The stockings hung with care were obviously trophy displays. The concept of nice versus naughty lists was a ranking system for warriors, and the idea of home for the holidays had triggered every territorial instinct in their predatory DNA. "We need to fix this before the Galactic Summit next week," Sarah muttered. "Actually, Commander," her first officer, Lieutenant Kovac, interrupted from his station. "You might want to see this." On the main view screen, a shuttle was approaching. Not just any shuttle. A Catharan battlecruiser escort was bringing what the manifest identified as reinforcements. Sarah's blood ran cold. "Tell me that's not—" "It is," Kovac confirmed. 60 more Catharan cubs. Apparently, word spread through their homeworld communication networks about this glorious new tradition. Their parents are sending them here for what they're calling Christmas combat training. The station shuddered as the first cub discovered that candy canes could be sharpened into effective climbing tools. In the distance, Sarah heard what sounded like jingle bells, but she knew it was actually the sound of ornaments being used as improvised weapons in a dispute over who controlled the mess hall's prime tree. Location. Dr. Webb's tablet chimed with an incoming message. His face went pale as he read it. "Commander, I'm getting reports from across the galaxy. The Vrillian hive mind wants to know if they can participate. The Zentari cyborgs are asking if the lights need to interface with their neural networks. And the Morphids are demanding to know why their shape-shifting abilities haven't been incorporated into elf traditions." Sarah Chen had faced down pirates, negotiated with hostile aliens, and once performed an emergency spacewalk to repair a reactor mid-battle. None of that had prepared her for this. A young Catharan cub, Kavex, she thought his name was, approached her with something clasped in his massive claws. His scales were decorated with crude drawings of snowflakes, and he wore a Santa hat that someone had reinforced with titanium mesh to fit his horned head. "Human Commander Chen," Kavex rumbled in his surprisingly gentle voice. "I have completed my territorial survey. This sector," he gestured to the entire command deck, "requires festive optimization. I have prepared a gift offering as per tradition. He held out a carefully wrapped package. Inside, Sarah found a photo. Kivek and his siblings had somehow convinced Ambassador Cathara to pose in front of their decorated territories, all wearing matching ugly Christmas sweaters that must have been custom-made to fit Catharan physiology. Despite everything, Sarah smiled. Kivek, do you understand what Christmas is really about? The cub tilted his massive head. The human data files say it is about family, generosity, and joy. That's right. Then we are celebrating correctly, Kivek said with absolute certainty. We share our territories with family. We give gifts to show friendship, and the lights bring joy to all who see them. He paused. Though I do not understand why there must be no combat. How else do we determine who has the best decorations? Sarah laughed, the first genuine laugh she'd had in weeks. Kivek, what if I told you there's a human tradition called friendly competition, where we compete without actual combat? The cub's eyes widened with fascination. This is possible? It is. How about we organize a station-wide decoration contest? Official rules, judges, categories, prizes. No fighting, just creativity. Kivek's tail swished with excitement. Within minutes, he had spread the word through his siblings. The fighting stopped. Instead, the cubs began collaborating, sharing materials, and actually planning their displays. By the time the Galactic Summit arrived, Frontier Station had been transformed into something unprecedented, a cross-cultural celebration that somehow captured both human Christmas spirit and Catharan competitive honor. The visiting dignitaries were stunned into silence, then broke into spontaneous applause. The Galactic Council declared it a triumph of cultural exchange. Ambassador, Cathara privately thanked Sarah for taming her cub's enthusiasm into something constructive, and humanity gained a reputation for something new. Not just for their adaptability or their stubborn survival instinct, but for their ability to turn even the galaxy's most fearsome predators into enthusiastic holiday decorators. Commander Sarah Chen looked out at the light-covered station and smiled. Sometimes humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or strategy. It was the infectious joy of traditions that brought everyone together, even if those traditions now included territorial decoration disputes, adjudicated by interstellar treaty. Somewhere in the distance, jingle bells rang out, real ones this time, not ornament weapons, and Sarah heard the unmistakable sound of a Catharan cub choir attempting Deck the Halls. She decided not to mention that they were singing it as a war chant. Some things, she thought, were better left as mysteries of cultural translation. ND.